The meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for Tuesday, October the 5th. We have a few changes to the agenda tonight, so if y'all will bear with me. I'm going to ask you to delete number 19. I'm going to ask you to make several additions to the consent agenda. You've got memos for all of these things. Add to the consent agenda at A2, approve a sole source purchase of software for OPD. And at A3, approve a sole source purchase of software for Metro Narcotics. And then under Human Resources, at letter B, if you'd add at number 12, a resignation in the fire department. And at B13, a new hire in the fire department. I'm going to ask you to change the wording at number 14 to request permission to close the section of University Place to 5th Street. You see that's a change in the streets. And at number 22, I'm going to ask you to change again whose proposal we're considering. So it would read, consider a proposal from Demolition Specialist LLC for asbestos testing in the old Rsvp building. Any other changes, Ashley?
No, ma'am. That's all I had.
All right. With those changes, could I get a motion to adopt this agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Keisha is not, Alderman Atkinson is not with us tonight. She is the volleyball coach at Oxford, and they are playing with Fayette in a home game tonight, their last home volleyball game of the season, so she is there coaching her team. This week, or actually last week, I participated in the Heartland Forward virtual community event, as well as John Maynard was also a participant. Oxford was honored to be chosen along with Tulsa, Oklahoma as one of the 2 pilot programs to engage in the Builders and Backers program. The board may remember we contributed funds to get this program started, and it's helped us generate really creative solutions to help some entrepreneurs in our community and to support innovation and inclusive growth. And it was a privilege to tell Oxford's story, as it always is. If you're interested in serving our community, we will have vacancies coming up on our tree board in the coming months. So anyone who is interested can email cityhall@oxfordms.net to put your name in the pot for serving on the Oxford Tree Board. On October the 29th, the Tree Board will host an Arbor Day event at the Pocket Park on North Lamar at 10 a.m. We hope that you'll join us. In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the Oxford Fire Department is selling raffle tickets for a pink fire helmet. The money will go to the Cancer Center here in Oxford to help pay for mammograms and travel expenses for people without insurance. Chief Gardner is on the back row, and I can bet you he's got tickets on him tonight. If anybody would like to buy, 1 for $5 and 5 for $20, or you can stop by Fire Station 1, I'm sure, and purchase one of those tickets, or 5 of those tickets. This week, the web clinic, as you know, Jimmy Allgood, our emergency management director, has been so diligent in setting up pop-up vaccination sites across our community for the past few months. And we have committed to doing one next door to City Hall on every Friday of a home football game weekend. They've been most successful at our Larson's Cash Saver location, and so we've been alternating back and forth. But what we know about this community is when it's going to be a home game weekend, people go to Larson's on Thursday instead of Friday to beat the game traffic. So this week we will be doing 2 pop-up sites, one at Larson's on Thursday from 12 to 5. So if you go to do your Grove shopping on Thursday, or have folks that you work with or what have you that you want to encourage to go get a vaccination, Thursday 12 to 5 at Larson's, Friday 12 to 5 next door to City Hall. And we are not opposed to vaccinating both Rebel and Razorback fans alike, but they will have to remove that stupid hat that they wear. All right, with that being said, I ask you to authorize the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on September 21st and the special meeting on September 28th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I ask you to authorize the approval of accounts for all city departments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I ask you to consider the consent agenda with the 4 additions I listed earlier.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ask you to consider a resolution of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen to affirm the earlier conveyance of a portion of unopened South 13th Street and to authorize issuance of a replacement quitclaim deed to the successor of the original grantee based on a request from Kurt Milam on behalf of the estate of Floyd Metz. Pope, do you want to address this? Or I know Kurt Milam is here to address this.
Kurt, you may be able to explain it kind of more cogently than I, but the long of it is that there was a quitclaim that was promised, or the board passed, that there would be a quitclaim to the property that he was trying to write title to, and the quitclaim never issued. And the house
Like in the
was built
50s.
In the 50s.
Actually, in 1940,
Yeah.
in 1948.
So although some of us look like we were around.
This was, I thought for sure it was in the Pat Patterson era, but
Somebody get Pat over here.
There was, in 1949, Floyd Metz bought the property by the telephone transfer station that was bought as the south half of Lot 3 and Lot 19 based on the 1939 map. You look at the 1939 map, South 13th Street goes right through there. Unopened. It was never open. In 48, there was a resolution by the board to quitclaim the north half, provided that the south half also be quitclaimed. That was never done. Floyd Metz resided in that house from 1949 until he recently passed away. And the state's trying to sell the property, and that's an issue with the title, and so we are requesting a quitclaim.
I mean, I'll go ahead and say on the record, the question that came up is, should you all be getting an appraisal of the unopened half? Or getting two appraisals, some could act as two appraisals, and we think not. We think the board already acted, it just never was performed. And so y'all can disavow prior board's actions a long time ago, but so long as you don't do that, we see no reason that the quitclaim can't issue, and that the normal requirement when you quitclaim a closed road of getting it appraised and either selling it or putting it out on the open market for bids shouldn't apply here, given that the board had already made the decision.
and
It's not a situation.
but the quitclaim, it wasn't like the board never did it. The people who worked for the administration never got around to doing it, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, right. Obviously, the board would.
Or it got stuck in a drawer. It was just never
It
recorded.
was never reported or filed. It may have issued, but.
Maybe out there.
Make a motion to convey the quitclaim, appear to the earlier conveyance from other reports.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. Request permission for the out general manager and 2 management level employees to attend the 2021 CTAA Expo Conference on November 7th through the 11th in Richmond, Virginia, an estimated cost of $3,963.94. RTAP will reimburse all conference expenses except $415.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Donna. Next, request permission to authorize the mayor to sign the 2021-2022 5311 grant for the Oxford University Transit Program.
It has been approved by the whole Ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, Amberlyn, request permission to accept the reversed auction bids for the 3 automated garbage collection trucks. Woohoo!
Cannot wait. The first 2 trucks came in at $378,747. We should see those trucks come in late summer of 2020, and then the third truck, the automated front load with automatic side load attachment, at $407,260.
And is that pretty much what we budgeted?
Yes, sir.
So
moved.
Second.
Who knew we could get so excited about garbage trucks and knuckle bones? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Trash
Thank you.
talking.
Trash talking.
Just like they won't show up.
That's right. Well, let's think positive. Request permission to accept an offer from Canon Motor Company for a new recycling drop-off location.
Yes, ma'am, this was offered at the Canon Nissan used dealership off of Ricky Brett Drive, and we would like to accept their.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And thank you to Canon Motor Company for offering this space for us to have another drop-off site on that side of town. All right,
Great to get
thank
one out
you.
there.
It
Good
is.
job.
Thank you.
And I think Bart is covering this item for Arleta. Request permission to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the MDOT contract for the city-county transit.
It's just around the disabled.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Mr. Carter, come up to give us an update on balconies located in the city right-of-way areas.
You remember when? Now we're gonna slow.
Oh, gosh, that's funny.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. Me too. It's a good one. Okay, Chris, take it away. Give us an update.
Oh, we're here to revisit, once again, the issue of the structural integrity of balconies overhanging the city right away around the square. I apologize for not being present at your last meeting when this was discussed, but understand that Hollis did a fantastic job answering any questions that you had. Hopefully, he
We
won't-
wouldn't have told you if he didn't.
hopefully he won't be gunning for my job. As the building official for the city of Oxford, it's not only my job, but it's my passion to try to make Oxford's built environment as safe as possible. We owe at least that much to our citizens as well as visitors to our city. There's been considerable discussion about the balconies over the past couple of months. I'm pleased to report to you that engineers have assessed all of the balconies serving commercial uses around the square. There's currently 5 balconies that do not meet the structural requirements of the International Building Code. 2 that haven't gotten their reports to me yet. The engineers looked at them, we were down to the
Don't
wire
have the
and haven't
report.
gotten those 2 reports just yet. They are as follows. Balcony, southwest corner of the square above my favorite shoes. 2 balconies at something southern. The balcony above Square Books Junior, and the balcony on the Duval's building. The 2 that have not submitted reports are located over on the Thompson House. At your last meeting, I understood that you requested an engineer to assign a maximum occupant load to the balconies that don't meet this standard. I have that information here for you tonight. The one above my favorite shoes, 100 pounds per square foot is what's required for that balcony. 30 pounds per square foot is the current rating. It results in a maximum of 150 people evenly spaced across the balcony. Both balconies at something southern, again, 100 pounds per square foot is what's required. 41 pounds per square foot is the current rating. That results in a maximum of 50 people per balcony. The balcony above Square Books Junior, once again, 100 pounds per square foot is required. 40 pounds per square foot is the current rating. The engineer limited that to a maximum of 6 people. While I'm not seeing the actual report from the engineer for the Duval's balcony, Mr. David Falk, who owns the building, he emailed me earlier this afternoon. I think he copied all of y'all as well, but according to David, the engineer told him that his balcony is not safe for any occupancy whatsoever. Rest assured that while my decisions may not be the most popular, any decision that I make in the dispatch of my duties is firmly rooted in the IBC, which you as a whole adopted, and my decisions are geared toward the overall safety of the community. My recommendation, as from the beginning, is to disallow any use of these balconies until such time as they be brought into compliance with the minimal structural requirements that are stated in the adopted building code. There's many instances in the building code where exceptions are allowed. The structural integrity of a balcony is not one of those. I don't mean to be dramatic here, overly dramatic, but the reality is, when elevated balconies fail, people get hurt, people get maimed for life, people die. For this reason, I cannot support in my professional capacity allowing these balconies to be exempted in any way from following the minimum standards of the building codes with the adopted here in Oxford. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so my understanding is that we still have the Thompson House. Taylor, do you have an update on that you can give us quickly, or if you don't?
I can give you an update. I actually just got an email with a report.
Okay, great, well, if you don't mind.
This is not on him, the engineer had some trouble getting over this.
Sure, no, I knew that, that's, so, but if we have that, we can make this decision all at once, rather than having to put yours off.
So the long and short of it is, I haven't sent it to Chris or Bart yet. Bart called me earlier talking about it, and I literally got it while I was walking up here. Long and short of it is, we got assigned a max capacity of 50 people on the main balcony. The smaller balcony is on the new part of the building. I guess that's the Monroe side of the building, or however they refer to it. Those are structurally fine, totally in compliance.
So it's just your front one that's on Jackson Avenue?
Just the big balcony. And I've actually got some questions about that. I was hearing Chris talk about the load capacities assigned to, he said our pounds per square foot figure for the big balcony is 60. So, and the capacity is 50 people. But I just, Mark Watson is the one who did it. I just heard Chris say there was another one with 30 that also had a 50 person capacity.
It's a lot larger.
It is.
A lot larger square footage.
The math is not necessarily working out. These are what the engineers wrote in their letter as far as their maximum recommended occupant load.
And there are different engineers that
different
recommended
engineers.
these different balconies. The same engineer did not do every
I hire
balcony.
engineers to do this stuff. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about it. I'm just.
Well, I agree with your line of questioning, because I'm sitting here doing the math in my head too and thinking, so this one that has a greater,
Don't bother.
yeah, exactly, but the numbers that we're reading are all straight off of engineers' reports, just different engineers apparently came to different conclusions. So, and all that this board will have to go by is what each individual engineer recommended. So.
And obviously kind of follow up on what Chris was saying, you know, ours meets the standard if it were just a residential use, but because it's commercial, it gets this elevated standard up to 75 pounds per square foot.
100, I think.
Y'all know as well as I do that they're known at any given time during the year, except on double decker Christmas parade, they're not gonna be more than 3 people out on that balcony at once, so.
But it's those dates that we're worried about.
Even, I understand that, but even then, I haven't been out there, we're not even touching those numbers on those dates either. That's the point being, you know, I think.
Okay.
How many people can you have?
According to the report I got in, 50 people is the max capacity
Okay.
they signed.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I'll email it to you as soon as I sit back down.
Okay, so thank you, Taylor.
Thank y'all.
So what I'm hearing, I want to make sure I've got this right. I understand that in your official capacity that there's just no gray area in the International Business Code. Of course, this board has heard comments from several different business owners, property owners, and I know that the reason that they've gotten these explanatory letters from engineers is because we wanted to know what are you comfortable with. And so, although there is no gray area in the IBC, the board will determine what is put in place as we move
Well,
forward.
we already have.
So,
I mean, we already have allowed people who we knew didn't.
well, we allowed it until they brought us
There.
these confirmed reports. And so to me, and Chris, jump in here if I screw this up, but what I think the board is charged with tonight is determining a couple of things. One is, are you comfortable with people utilizing these balconies when it now is confirmed that there are 5 that have not met the International Building Code requirements? Okay, so that's question number 1. Number 2 would be if you're comfortable with allowing them to utilize the, number that the engineers that Chris just went through and that Taylor just told us about from Thompson House have put a level of, weight or number of capacity. Are you comfortable with that since engineers have signed off on it? And if you are, I think there are two other conversations that need to happen. One is, who's regulating these limitations? What is the board's expectation on that? And a time frame for correcting the issues. You know, if my understanding would be that if all of these that have structural integrity issues would address them, then 5 years from now when they are reviewed, we won't be having this same conversation again. It's not gonna be an ongoing thing if, you know, they will be brought to IBC standards. So if we say, if the board determines, okay, we're okay with allowing the number of people that engineers have dictated in their reports, how long are we allowing that? I don't think it can be open-ended. I think we have to say, but, you know, you've got this long to correct the issues or to address the issues. So, I'll open the floor for discussion.
Yeah, I was thinking as we're looking forward, with the ones that we've got stamped by an engineer that says they're not of 100 pound per square inch or foot or whatever it is, they're not up to standard, I think we should give them a year in my mind, because I know how busy everybody is. Give them a year. They can have up to what their engineer is stamping, or we can go half or 3/4 or whatever you want to go with there. But I think they've got a year to get it up to standard, and then if they aren't, they'll have to stop using it.
That sounds like a good compromise to me.
I think that's probably, just sitting here thinking about supplies, work, if they're gonna have to go to the historic preservation, those types of things.
The only one that, if I'm not mistaken, the only one that would have to go to historic preservation will be Goodwill's.
Well,
Because it has, I mean, it has to come down.
it depends on what they propose for their reinforcement. But
Yeah.
I don't think
Okay.
it's gonna be-
Ben, will it all have to go to,
It just depends on the proposed work and how that alters the appearance of it.
okay,
It's gonna be case by case.
yeah.
Does it give any, I mean, I know that your recommendation is that no one be allowed on the balconies until these improvements are made, but with the balcony at Duval's being ruled as,
Zero.
I don't remember the word that you use, I don't want to sound overly dramatic, but, you know, there's a fear of people being on it, but there's also a fear to me of people walking under it. If it's at a level that they're saying can't tolerate any weight, I mean, we may give them a year to make improvements so that people can go out on it, but should we, and again, I'm no structural engineer here, but should we not condition it that it needs, I mean, if there's any danger of it falling, maybe it should be removed, even if they're waiting to put the new one.
Let's hear it
I
from
mean,
the
I was gonna say, the
engineer.
engineer should tell us if it needs to be supported or whatever,
Yeah.
or
And I
removed.
haven't gotten that report to see exactly what the engineer said. David, the building owner he said that the engineer told him that it's not at risk of just falling off the building out, but it just doesn't need
People on it.
people on it right now. Again, when I get that report.
Well, if you would question that specifically to the engineer, I mean, it certainly isn't responsible of this board to approve to let it stay there if an innocent bystander walking under it is in danger. So I would like to know that answer specifically, that we won't know tonight, but.
Is that
Okay.
an email that was sent to us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That it was, I think it was structurally okay to stand there, they just don't put any more weight.
For what period of time?
Now, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, today, okay, but what if, you know,
Could be tomorrow, you know.
just. Okay, so what is y'all's,
Think that,
During the year, I would recommend that we at least cut it by half, though. I mean, the one is square books is 6 people, 40 pounds per square inch. The others, as Taylor mentioned, he's 150 people, 50 people for him, 150 people for my favorite shoes, I think was the number, and 50 people per. I think we should cut that number in half just for the protection of during that year until that way we at least have done and decreased the load capacity of each. If we're not gonna shut it down fully, then we should reduce that capacity in some manner.
Yeah.
Brian, I think the way to do this is just to say that the licenses for those that have been given limitations should be conditioned upon a use of no more than 50% of what the engineers have said,
Right.
maximum
Yep.
capacity, and shall be allowed to continue only for a year unless they're brought up to the IBC within that time.
Before you get too far, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just looked at my email, and Mr. Flower has sent me the email just within the last few minutes from the engineer,
Okay,
on the Goodwill's balcony. Without reading all the non-cool stuff, it says that, the existing conditions contain severe rust and corrosion, which have greatly compromised the balcony's structural integrity. The balcony is not structurally safe for use and should not be used for any reason. Recommendations would be to remove and replace the balcony feature. That's straight from the engineer.
He just needs to ask him.
we just need to, yeah, I mean, if it's,
I mean, does it need to happen yesterday, or, you know, can you find somebody in 3 weeks?
Well,
Because they've got to go before historic.
but they can take it down and away, though, that's my
Me
concern.
reading that report tells me that that balcony's in a bad shape.
Yeah.
An engineer to tell you that you need to take it down, I think we need to pursue that immediately.
Go check with.
And he will have the same amount of time to get it up to IBC standards as the other 5, I would assume. Y'all would give him the same time
Yeah.
frame, but I mean,
Yeah.
taking it down, since it's going to have to be removed, I think probably sooner rather than later would be my take, but. Okay, so let's talk about the regulating these limitations. What is the board's expectation on how that will be done?
I think your occupancy per person on the balcony needs to be posted on the inside of the door, by every door that goes on that balcony.
Can I say that these will all be conditions of the license required by you all as of tonight?
Everything Pope has said so far is in Rick's motion,
Yeah,
or
that's
Brian's
part of the
motion.
Yeah, we'll continue with the motion. I think, posted by the door. And I think even the ones that show, I can have 150 on here, should be posted by the door. I mean, even the ones that are.
Well, they were saying, I mean, if we go
I
with
mean,
Brian's,
They're 100%. I mean, if they're great to be on there, you still can't have the X number of people.
and those are posted, I mean, like,
They're posted.
some of those, the bars have
Those
them.
numbers may not necessarily correlate to, the occupancy limitations from the fire department, to the fire code.
I guess that's what I'm trying to get to where somebody can walk up and go, sign on the door says you can have 75 people out there, you've got 140.
I can certainly, I will get with, fire inspectors. We can be pretty easy to assign an occupant load to the balcony based on what the fire code will allow them to post. But that's gonna be a lower number.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Brian, I don't want to say your motion for you, but I think you're saying no more than 50% of the engineering reports or the fire occupancy load, whichever is lower.
Correct.
Correct.
That's what he's.
That's exactly what I was saying.
That's part of my motion.
That's what I'm doing.
I second.
All right, and did your motion include a time frame for correcting the issue?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year. I agree.
Okay, all right, and is there a second?
Second.
All right, so the motion, so that we are clear for everyone's understanding, is that the 5 balconies that were identified as not meeting the 100 pounds per square foot IBC requirement.
Six.
With
the top down, Steve did.
Oh, yeah, that's their 2 there, yeah, okay,
Two,
gotcha,
one was signed, he said.
gotcha.
Right.
So, that those properties, balconies, would be limited to 50% of the occupancy stated by their signed and stamped engineering reports, or the fire occupancy, whichever is lower, and that those properties have 1 year from this date to correct those issues and come into compliance with the IBC. And, do we say anything different about Duval's, or is that not part of the motion?
I think I
don't know
would
how
put
to.
that in this.
I would, yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion for what I've stated in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then we'll leave it to Chris to have further discussion with the engineer regarding the Duval's balcony and advise us. Is that y'all's understanding, or what do you?
Yeah, and just note for the record that the owner has said he has told his occupant not to use that balcony, and that is our understanding, is that it won't be used while we seek further information about its potential removal.
Correct.
Okay, all right,
Would you
any
like
other
me-
questions or comments? Go ahead.
Want me to report back to you the next meeting with what I
That'd be
found out
great.
about?
Yep. All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, Jimmy Allgood, request permission to close the section of University Place to Fifth Street on December the 6th, 2021 at noon for staging of the annual Christmas parade.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, that was easy. We sure appreciate that our North Mississippi Board of Realtors has agreed to continue their tradition of hosting our annual Christmas parade. They have already started, I think, putting out information so that people can submit their applications to participate in the parade. And it is planned for the first Monday in December, as it has been for many years. So, thank you.
There is a limited number of entries, and there is no entry fee this year.
No entry fee.
Correct.
Get your floats ready, people. All right, thank you, Jimmy. Second reading and public hearing on a proposed ordinance to rezone approximately 4.6 acres, case 2784, owned by MFM Development LLC, from neighborhood residential to suburban corridor for property located at 2385 South Lamar Boulevard, being further identified as PPINs 8908 and 10381.
Nothing has changed since the first reading, and to date, we've not received any comment, phone calls, feedback at it.
I have not either. I don't know if any board members have received any input. I have not received any. All right, so this is a second reading. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to give comment regarding this rezoning? Okay, if not, then we'll have third reading and vote at our meeting in 2 weeks.
Since we have no public hearing, I mean, if there's nobody here to speak, we could pass this on for motion to.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Second reading and public hearing on a proposed ordinance amending the City of Oxford Land Development Code, case 2792.
Same situation, nothing's changed, and we've not received any comment on this. As a public hearing.
All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on this ordinance amending the City of Oxford Land Development Code, case 2792? All right, if there is not, then we will have a third reading unless there is consensus to vote on this tonight with no input.
I make a motion to approve.
All right. Is there a second? Second. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Request permission to approve and authorize the mayor and the police chief to sign the annual interlocal agreement with the Lafayette County Metro Narcotics Unit for FY 21-22. Chief McCutcheon.
Good evening. Same thing that we did a couple years ago. We didn't really change any substantial elements to this. We just had to re-sign it because of administration changes on university.
And I think you all approved this exact one 6 months or 9 months ago. The university had not gotten it through IHL yet, and then the AG's office said that we needed to add some citations, so it's changed only to the extent we added a few statutory citations. It's exactly.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. All right. Request permission to approve the list of unmarked cars as required by state statute.
So this is just our list of admin, investigator, training, and metro cars.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, 19's deleted. Number 20, consider a revocable license for Funkies for the use of surplus municipal property located on Jackson Avenue East. Mark Levy.
This is the same license that St. Leo and Raptors have previously been approved for. It's an annual license paid monthly for 577 square feet of surplus city property along East Jackson for a rate of $1,105.99 per month for the total annual fee of $13,271.92. Execution of the license is contingent on the shared space permit and insurance and the ABC requirements.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to approve the Oxford Garden Club's participation in the Adopt a Street program.
So at the last board meeting, you approved the Lafayette County Master Gardeners agreement for the Adopt a Street, and this tonight we have the Oxford Garden Club and Sally Van Deventer is here representing the Garden Club to adopt 5,000 foot stretch of Bramlett Avenue from University to Avent Park. It's about 8.27 acres of city right-of-way that they have agreed to clean up annually. So we're thankful for them, and it's the same agreement that we did. All the members have to sign a waiver to be able to participate, and there's currently 11 members. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so
great.
very much. We very much appreciate you all stepping up to help us tackle this litter problem, and we hope that other organizations across town will follow their lead. So
We'll put up signs. You'll be seeing signs around town.
Motion made and approved.
Sorry.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consider a proposal with Demolition Specialist LLC for asbestos testing on the old Rsvp building.
It's for the testing of the Rsvp building, which is the first step in the demolition process. Demolition Specialist is an Oxford-based company that is certified by the MDEQ as an inspector. And again, this is the first step toward the construction of the park. We did receive a second quote, which was over 6 times more expensive, so I recommend approval.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thank you.
opposed? Thank you. All right, Ashley, request permission to approve the Municipal Compliance Questionnaire for FY 2021.
Yes, this is part of our year-end statutory requirements. It just answers a bunch of questions as to what we do during the year.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to approve a list of budget reallocations and amendments for FY 2020-2021.
Yes. You'll see this was a rather large list. We haven't done these in a while. Most of them you'll see were net change of 0 to most of the departments. They had a few that were increases. Most of them were in revenue because we did pick up in revenue, more so than we thought we would when we did budget. So this is kind of a housekeeping cleanup.
Motion made and approved.
Second.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, Rhiannon, I request permission to close Tyler Avenue between South 14th Street and South Lamar beginning October 6th to repair a damaged utility line.
Yes, and I do need to make an amendment to say beginning Tuesday, October 5th, Oxford Utilities has started work. There was a little miscommunication about when we would saw cut and begin the work, and so they got a great head start locating this problem. C-Spire is requesting, they initially requested to come in and complete an area. They had hit the utility duct bank, the power duct bank, and knocked out power to some businesses around the square when they were trying to bore to install fiber. And as a result, Oxford Utilities has had to come in and do this work. So I'm asking for permission to close it beginning now, and through Thursday of this week, we expect that we'll have the work complete, and we're going to have it maintained and back open for Friday.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to close East Jackson Avenue, South 10th Street and South 11th Street from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on October the 11th for the repair of lights in that area.
Yes, this is for building the grounds to work on the Christmas lights.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consider a contract renewal with Michael Rogers for professional services related to the maintenance of the City of Oxford water model.
Yes, Michael has been maintaining our water model for a number of years, and this is just to renew his contract so that he can continue to provide those updates.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consider a contract with Williams Engineering Consultants for professional services for the South Lamar Box Culvert Hazard Mitigation Project.
Yes, we would like to hire Williams Engineering to do the design work for our grant project. We're receiving about $500,000 in hazard grant funds that Jimmy got for us for this project.
Whoever makes this motion should do it in honor of Janice Antonelli.
In honor of Janice Antonelli.
But I would wanna point out, let's make sure when that culvert is set in there, it's at the right angle. Not like FNC Park, and that the problem we got out there is with the wash.
Well, I doubt it. I imagine a ditch moved after the pipe.
Okay. Well, okay, either way, I'm ready to vote.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Consider a contract with Williams Engineering Consultants for the construction, inspection, and engineering services for the Cemetery Creek project.
Yes, so Jeff Williams did all the design work for the cemetery project. We've got our grant funds in place now. Through MEMA, again, this was a help of Jimmy getting these funds secured, and with this contract is to hire Jeff to manage the project and get us through the construction.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider a contract with Daniels and Associates for professional services for the Brittany Woods Water Improvement Project.
So we would like to hire David Daniels to start work on that Brittany Woods project. That brings the project with, when we annex Brittany Woods, we want to get the fire hydrants installed, get the water mains to city standards. And so David Daniels will do that design work for us, and it has been budgeted in the fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consider a contract with Daniels and Associates for professional services to develop plans for the future wells, water plant, and distribution system at M-Trade Park.
Yes, we have completed our test well project. We've had great findings out there. Where this contract will be for David to provide an overall concept plan for where we want to put the final wells, the water plant, and really thinking about the whole area for the next 50 years instead of just kind of starting to piecemeal things together. So I would ask to hire David Daniels for that contract.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider an amended and restated use agreement for the University Intercollegiate Rifle Team's use of the rifle range located at the Oxford Conference Center and Army National Guard Readiness Center.
You approved an agreement between us and the university to do just this several months back. After review by the IHL and in consultation with John Mayo, we thought it was proper to include the Guard as a party to the agreement, restate the whole agreement, so that's what this is. It is, the amount of money the university will pay for the maintenance will not change, it's just who the parties are to the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, I'll ask the board to now consider an executive session.
Move we consider executive session.
All in favor? Any opposed? The board will now consider an executive session.